Welcome to Master the Game. I am Juice, and I'm here with a few of my $10 and above patrons. Tonight we're going to be talking about a few different things, and as always, I'm always looking forward to this. I enjoy hanging out with you guys, and yeah, it was fun even before stream. So with that, we can talk about anything you guys want tonight. I do have a few things that came up today. One of them was creating a character. Concept or build first. Also, creating it as a group or creating it by yourself. Tommy from Black Dragon, the YouTube channel, it's a Pathfinder channel, said Christmas themed one shots. He also was curious, and I don't think you guys are big Pathfinder fans, so I'll probably talk about this tomorrow. But what classes you think are coming in upcoming Pathfinder books? But we can spin that for D&D as well. Like, what would you like to see covered? Maybe it's a class or subclass or abilities or something along those lines. I know there's a lot that just came out. Not a lot, but some that came out with Tasha's and things like that. I haven't even looked at that book, though. The other thing that I wouldn't mind talking about is some video games, because I'm getting excited about Dragon Age 4. I've seen a few more trailers recently and watch some of the speculation as to what they think that might be. A Rifts one shot for this Sunday. We have 6 characters to choose from, or 7 characters. Yeah, 7. So if anyone wants to play in that game, if you're a patron, you are able to play in that on Sunday. And then I don't know if you guys saw it, but there's this guy named Taking 20. He's kind of a small YouTuber. He did a follow-up to his original video. If you guys really wanted to, we could touch on that. But if not, no big deal either. His was about Pathfinder. So, and why he is quitting it. So with that, do you guys want to introduce yourselves? We can start with you, Peter.
Being Drake, YouTube. I play in some games on here. Beck me, Tyranny of Dragons. I run Pulp Cthulhu on Thursday. And so far, pretty much every NPC's head has exploded. But,
all the important ones.
All the important ones. That's right. All the important ones.
Nice. Victor, care to say anything?
Well, I'm Victor. I've been probably playing role games for about 30 years. I don't have any YouTube channels or
yet.
Any social. Yeah.
Keyword is yet.
Yeah. Okay.
That's right.
We're going to get you a cult following just through our patron chats.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think Spunky here has a better chance to get a following than me.
What about you, Dave? What do you got going on over there?
What's up, everybody? I'm Dave, one of the founders of Tactical Tokens, and that's about it.
That's about it? Tactical tokens are huge, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if minis are too expensive or paper stand-ups suck too much, you should give Tactical Tokens a try.
My wife hated the beginner's box Pathfinder pawns when we did first edition.
Oh yeah, usually those go over pretty well.
She didn't like them, but at that point I had already introduced her into painted minis and stuff, so maybe she was spoiled.
Yeah, that's one of our dreams, is to kind of take over as a couple companies, Paizo, Kobold Press. They use those cardboard printed stand-up thingies. One of our goals, maybe in the coming years, is to replace them. Have you get a box of tokens instead of a box of cardboard.
She loves your tokens. The fact that you can write on them is huge. Like, I feel like if you could, on the Pathfinder pawns, write on them without staining the cardboard.
Yeah, if they're dry erase, that would be a game changer for them.
Heck yeah. So
take notes.
Right? There you go. So
there's a couple a couple other like flat miniatures. They all make theirs. All the new players in that game make them dry erase now.
Yeah.
So they gotta get on board.
Yeah, even the stand up, I think Nerdarchy had the clear ones that are kind of dry erase as well. That came with their box set for their encounters. I don't know. I haven't seen those, but I think it was like a clear plastic, and some of like the loot box type of things have done those before as well.
Yep. Yeah,
where it's that
Dungeon in
clear
a Box
plastic.
has skinny minis. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on. I backed one of their Kickstarters a while ago. I'm still waiting on a delivery of them, but I'm excited to get them because our tokens stick to them.
Oh.
So it's like boom, instant condition trackers already.
That's perfect. I didn't think about that.
And I want to do a cool photo shoot with them. That'd be cool.
Do you have anything going on with your new group, your meetup group that you've purchased in recent months?
Not yet. I'm kind of letting things go until the new year, as is. But announced my presence, sent messages to all the mods. I got, or the current, organizers or co-organizers. Really only got one message back from someone. So the rest of them kind of have until early January before I'm just going to clean house and then start fresh.
Yeah.
But with that, yeah, I was thinking of just hosting online meetups now that meetup.com allows online. Have one for like, basically I got to come up with cool names, event names for it, but basically like how to player, how to DM, and then schedule them random times throughout the week. And then hopefully even do, I've been talking about the hour-long one-shots. Hopefully I run some one-shots for the crew in there. Because there's over 2,000 people that are in that group that haven't, to my knowledge, haven't really been playing much D&D lately.
I forgot you wanted to talk about 1 hour one-shots.
I've been watching that. One of the guys in Discord said the lunchtime heroes or whatever their show name is actually called the Oblivion Oath. I started watching them a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm. I think it's completely doable. I know Peter was like, I can't imagine. But I actually feel like Peter's style of running games is perfect for 1 hour one-shots. Like, because like there's so much that happens in a session of Pulp Cthulhu that it's like, it easily breaks up into 3 different things if you wanted it to. Whereas me, I feel like I don't do as much. And so it's more of a slow burn. And so like, I feel like my games don't work necessarily for a 1 hour one shot.
Yeah. I've certainly enjoyed the sessions where it's just like the players role playing for 3 hours and in game, like nothing happened.
Yeah.
I occasionally I really love those, but I've some of my favorite games have been this like crazy fast pace where you look back and you're like, holy crap, we did a lot.
That's how I feel in Pulp Cthulhu every week.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you need to take a break after the session. Like,
afterwards, I'm just like, wait, what did we like? Every time I go inside, because my wife has tried to watch them when they happen, I'm like, I have no idea what just happened. And so it takes me a second to process everything that happened.
In a way, that's kind of my goal of have it paced well enough that like in the moment, you all you can do is kind of focus on the game and what's going on.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, the hour's gone, and the goal is to leave the person wanting instead of, because I've also had the sessions where they might have only been 2 hours, 3 hours long, but it's just like, when is this going to be over?
Yeah.
Yes.
When are we going to get to the next thing?
Yeah.
I was talking to someone on Twitter a few days ago, and they were doing they thought it'd be fun to do a level 21 shot, and it was just a 6 hour long combat with a bunch of dragons, and they were like, this was the most boring thing I've ever done. Like, never again.
Yeah. It takes a long time to resolve your actions if you're doing level 20 as well.
Yeah, I think they said the average turn order time was something like 10-15 minutes a person.
Oh,
and that's even if they knew what they were doing, because you had to describe spells, and at level 20 all these weird rules come into play. It's like, okay, well, we just sent this guy to this dimension, but we used this item. How does that come into play? It's too much.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun. So are you thinking of fast tracking things at the start, like rather than you guys walk into a tavern, like rather than doing that, being like, you've been at the tavern all day and this is what you found out?
I think it would have to be, I think it would have to have a lot of buy-in up front. Or where like the actual gameplay might be an hour, you just spent the last week talking to the people, for hours at a time
Yeah.
previously, either getting the characters ready or getting an agreement of like what game you want to play. I kind of felt it as almost like a sign up sheet where it's like, hey, here's what I'm thinking for the game. It's I got to figure out descriptors for it, but it's a horror thing or a sci-fi one. Those are too broad, but figure out basically like, hey, if you want to try to play this type of game, sign up. Or it would even go as far as to say, you're all escaped convicts, and if you don't want to play an escaped convict, don't sign up for that game. Like you'll do the next one where you're all
prison guards looking for like escaped convicts.
Yeah. Also, that'd be kind of hilarious to do 1 week. Do like basically run the same module, but from the opposite side. Yeah, that'd be great.
I actually think that'd be a lot of fun.
I mean, it's less work for the DM too. I mean, really, you did half the work previously,
right?
I just got to do the other side,
and then whatever the players did in the first session, you can kind of just take that and be like, oh yeah, the NPCs did the same thing, and how are you going to react? Like it doesn't have a bearing on the outcome of the other thing, but you can totally steal what they did if it's better than what you had planned.
Yeah, I wouldn't connect them, but well, at least initially or at first. But I've also always wanted
like no overlap of the actual groups per se.
Yeah, that might be fun to do at some point, but that wouldn't be like the goal up front. But I have kind of fantasized about running the same module like 10 times with 10 different groups, just to see just how crazy and which directions they go in.
Speaking of that, I've actually been considering opening up a couple patron tiers to run specific campaigns that I've already run, like Descent into Avernus or Tyranny of Dragons. I've considered putting it up there for the same reason. Like, one, to see how other people do it differently. Plus, I already kind of know how it goes, so it'd be easy to kind of do that and put in some good effort into actually fleshing out the story a little better. But yeah, like I just I don't know if there's enough interest. Like I see people or I hear people say, oh yeah, I'm running like this campaign for my patrons and blah blah blah, like, and I'm like how do you decide what to charge for that? Like the other thing is, what if you don't fill the group that month? Do you start it for like 2 players? You know what I mean? There's like some things there that I feel like I have to work out, but
in that sense, what I've seen some of the others do is it's kind of the audience forces the hand of the whoever's running the Patreon, where there's been a couple cases where a couple creators have had to up their tiers, up the cost of their tiers because there has been too much interest in people joining the game. So that's what I've seen the most of, is if someone's Patreon's like going off the hook and like they want to run games, but there's almost too much interest. But
I feel like I have spot for one game like that to run a regular campaign for patrons once a month.
I think your audience would tell you what. I mean, maybe not directly tell you, but I think you already know. I think you got enough for one game.
Right.
Like that.
That's true.
And then scheduling is a nightmare still.
Right. Well, that's the thing too that I'm saying up front. So I actually did a video today where I mentioned my openness to do it. I've got 2 Fridays and 1 Saturday a month I can do it as of right now. One of those 3 days is reserved for the patron one shot though. So whether that's a Saturday or a Friday. Now obviously we're going to do it this Sunday, but this 2 weeks is kind of a special occasion where my wife's not working and so time is a little bit easier. But next month that one shot's going to be either a Friday or a Saturday. And that's going to be that way for the foreseeable future. I'd prefer it be that Saturday. The one Saturday I don't run my other campaigns though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing is, because if it is for patrons, if people don't show up, we got to play no matter what. Because there's other people who are playing or paying to play, and it wouldn't be fair to be like, well, this month we're not playing because Bob didn't show up. You know.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
the
you gotta
only
play.
thing about it, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So Dave, you said you weren't available for the for the Riffs one shot this month, right? On Sunday.
That was me.
Oh well, no, I mean even before today.
Oh, okay.
Because you said you were available till 10. I think. Is what you
Yes.
said. But Dave, you said you weren't available for that game.
I don't know if I said anything towards the game, but I
okay.
think you should. A safe assumption is unavailable.
Okay. If you are available, I'll message you afterwards. We'll talk and see if
Okay.
you're available and interested. I'll run some ideas by you if you
Yeah.
want. If not,
While
no big deal. I have
while I
enough
know
people to
of
fill the
Rifts.
game.
Cool. While I know of Rifts, never played.
So it's actually, so Rifts is a really simple system. It is a D20 based system with percentiles for skills. And so, real simple, you know, you do the target numbers. The target numbers for in combat is 4. Like that is basically the target number unless there's armor involved. Or if they choose to dodge it or parry it. Because the way Rifts is you can actively give up actions to defend yourself. And that's how you bump that number up, is if you roll high enough as your dodge bonus or your parry bonus. And we'll go over that too in the one shot. But yeah. So with that, let's jump over to the character creation stuff. So I was asked this question in Discord tonight about, do you build from a concept or the build first? And well, I know what I'm going to say, but do you guys have a preference on that you always do? Do you come up with a concept first or a build?
I'm going to say it's about 50-50. A lot of times I'm not sure what I'm going to run. It's like, oh, yeah, this guy's like really, really strong and has no brains.
What makes you think you want to do that? Like, because you mostly play Palladium books, right, Victor?
Oh, I played so many games I couldn't list them all. But if we're doing like a party creation, you know, where everybody sits down, what are we going to play? And it's like that, I might do more of a concept character.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha. Okay. What about you, Peter? What do you prefer?
I don't know. I know with the last two characters, that sounded like my last two characters, Pike and LBJ. I rolled and I was like, well, I know what I'm playing here.
Yeah, I mean, Beckme kind of forces you into just rolling and then figuring it out later.
Yeah, I did that with Tyranny of Dragons too.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
do you just roll down the line then, and then that was how you decided it?
Yeah, that's how I decided.
Gotcha.
Cool.
What about you, Dave?
I'm fine with either method. Most of the time, especially in like 5e games, whether kind of depends on the ability score rolling method. But if it's like standard rare point buy, you could tweak them to fit any class, and
Right.
they were designed that way. So yeah, most games with 5e, it'll be concept first,
Right.
and that'll just be like, ooh, I haven't played this thing in a while, or I haven't played one of these, or you know, the players will be going around and saying what they're playing, and I'm like, ooh, I found a wedge to fit in the gap that's there.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Do you like filling in party roles?
I do. Most of the
Gotcha.
time I do.
So you're the last one to come up with what you're going to play.
Yeah, so like if there's a bunch of people sitting around, like if we kind of work as a group to figure out what we're playing, I will be the quietest at the table for the first half hour and just see what everybody's picking.
Yeah.
And then if a gap reveals itself, most of the time I'll be like, okay, I'll play that thing.
Why do you think you do that? I'm always curious why people do that, because I don't do that.
Yeah. If I had to guess, it might be part of, I don't know, maybe a desire to feel useful if we're getting deep here, but like it's more of I'm one of those that kind of believe in the social contract of the game of like, hey, we're here to have fun and help each other. So it's like, what can I do to maximize that? and it just manifests itself as, oh, the healer's missing, which I haven't played that many healers, surprisingly enough. Usually the one that fills the gap is always the healer.
Right.
That's been the opposite of my experience so far.
Interesting. So when I run games, there's always that one person that's like, well, I want to see what everyone else is going to play first. And then I'm always like, well, what do you want to, like, I always ask, well, what do you want to play? Like, who cares what everyone else is playing? What do you want to play? Mm-hmm. And they'll just always be like, well, I'd rather just fill in the gap. I'm like,
although there are certain things, so like this drives my partner crazy. They'll be like, well, what do you want to eat? And I'm like, oh, I'm fine. I'm literally fine with anything.
Right.
Or especially if they're cooking.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like if you're going to put the effort in, I don't care. I will eat it.
I'm
even
like
if I don't want it. But it'll be something stupid like, what flavor of soup do you want? And I'm like, grab the one that's in front. I'm cool with it. So like,
where do you want to eat out tonight? Oh, I don't know, wherever.
Which
and
place
then you
is
pick
the closest or the
cheapest?
cheapest?
Not there.
Yeah. I try not to do that, but like, or I'll be honest, like, I don't want to eat there, but I will.
Right.
So I kind of see that as the same thing where I guess I don't care what I end up playing. So I almost want everybody else to make the decision for me, or I'm left with a smaller pool to choose from.
Right.
And I think I've rolled a die. I've given a class to a number on a die. I think I've done that more times than not in character creation, of just letting random choose what I play.
Yeah.
Because like, as long as I get to play, hey, that's cool.
Right.
Like I'm playing in a game. Ooh, session 0.5 is next Monday. Where I'm playing a cleric for the first time. Well, the first time for a campaign. I've done a few one shots with clerics, but like normally I'm not a fan of them. But like dice chose cleric, so playing cleric.
Clerics are fun in 5e.
I was going through it, and I've never really played a spellcaster that like knows everything and then just prepares them each day. Like I'm kind of really enjoying that aspect, at least in practice right now, or in theory right now, I should say.
The freedom goes a long way, I feel like.
Of like, oh, I have everything. I'm just limited by what I pick that morning.
Yes.
Like I kind of like that, instead of I think I've played Ranger the most, and they gotta pick, and that's it.
Well, see, so I played 2nd edition D&D or advanced, whatever, I don't know the difference, but I played that originally when I played D&D back in 2010, and when I played that, I did not like how the cleric was in there. It just felt very one-dimensional, I felt like. Obviously, that you can wear heavy armor and you can use blunted weapons to get up close and personal. But, like, most of the healing, or most of the spells were, like, healing or whatever. It wasn't a lot of combat spells. Whereas when 5e first came out, I think the very first character I played with the official game was a cleric of life. And I really enjoyed it because I remember I came across Guiding Bolt. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can do something other than heal. This is great. And I could actually be effective at it. Probably more so than anybody else in the party at first level. Because I think it's like 4d6 damage. Plus, it makes it so the next person attacking that creature has advantage. So it's like, not only is it really helpful from the standpoint that you're doing a ton of damage, but now you're also helping the next person hit it. Like, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And so for me, the cleric in 5e, ever since then, I was hooked, and I've played quite a few of them. And I've always had fun with the cleric in 5e.
Yeah, they give you plenty of opportunity to kind of be the MVP. Sorry, Victor, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going. You say you played a 2nd edition where the priest only, you could only get, you had the priest only healing.
Mm-hmm.
One time I played an evil priest. You ever watch that old show Taxi?
I have not, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there was a very self-centered character played by Danny DeVito.
Okay.
It's like, well, I'm going to play, this self-centered character, and he's neutral evil. Well, my DM at the time goes, well, you can't cast any healing spells. It's like, okay. So, instead of healing for like a D8, I threw a 3D8 lightning bolt.
Oh, nice.
And it's like, and the party goes, what do you mean you can't heal? It's like, well, I could give you back 1 or maybe up to 8 healing points, or I can fry that guy over there. Which do you prefer?
Right.
So that was like one of my favorite characters I ever played. And it was like, yeah, that's fine. I got the healing proficiency. I'll slap a Band-Aid on it and give you a lollipop there. Go feel better.
I felt like, so when I've played older editions of D&D, I always have the most fun playing just a fighter, honestly. And I think that's why even in newer editions, I tend to lean towards a martial class first. But I always, like with 5e, for example, I found that I like a lot of the spellcasting classes. Like Paula doesn't believe it because she's so used to like how she ran D&D for the first time for me back in 2010. And like, how I was like, oh yeah, I don't like that class. I don't like this. So she still holds a lot of that stuff against me to this day. But yeah, no, even in Pathfinder, like some of the spellcasters are really cool in that. And I like that. So, and in Pulp Cthulhu, there's some spellcastery kind of things that I've noticed that I've been like, and I've been mulling over the last few days. And that seems way more interesting than my big, muscular pro wrestler federal agent guy. So, yeah, it's interesting. So then obviously, Dave, you like to create as a group then, rather than just, here, make a character and bring it to next Thursday's game.
I think so, because I feel like the game overall runs smoother that way.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I also think it's important in character creation to tie your characters together so there's some kind of a strong bond going into session 1, rather than, we don't know each other or we just met. Like that always is kind of weird, I think. Because then everyone's still feeling each other out with no basis, know? Mm-hmm. So I've always found that like, even if it's the simple, like, they're hunting buddies or, they, both are infatuated with the same person or whatever. Like it adds a little bit, but that little bit makes a big difference, I feel, in every game I've run.
It's like it's a starting point for the party to begin with.
Yeah, and they start role-playing it up, too, like instantly, first session, it seems.
Yeah, if you got good players for it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's a trick I've used in the past, if I can't come up with anything else for like why a group is together, I just say it doesn't necessarily work if they're like level 1, but you kind of hand wave it. It's just, well, you guys have already been adventuring together for numerous years, so like basically skip the whole met in a tavern, you're complete strangers thing. You could say that happened, but 3 years ago, and you've been adventuring ever since. And then you come up with random things, or you have the players pull from previous campaigns. Be like, maybe this thing could have happened. But yeah, if you got a good group, they can get right into role playing.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I completely agree with that. So when it comes to concept or build first, I do both. It just depends. Sometimes I have an idea for a character based on something I've read or seen before. And other times there's a specific spell or mechanic of some sort that I'm like, I haven't played that. I should try that for once. Like it's not usually a spell, but it'd be like this new subclass that just came out in this book. And I'm like, that sounds kind of interesting. That might be fun. And then I'll try it, kind of thing.
One of the concepts I've been trying to figure out I would love to play is based on a character called from Hard Magic, and this guy just controls gravity.
Oh, interesting. Is it like a superhero thing, or?
You might as well say it's a superhero thing, but the premise of the books are that certain people get a magical power that controls one thing.
Right.
And then this guy, the main character, Jake Sullivan, it's set in the 30s after the Dust Bowl and everything. And there's this kid, a black boy, is going to get hung by a sheriff. And he just kind of walks up there and goes, "No, you're not killing the 10-year-old today." And he gets sent off to jail. Well, the warden kind of takes pity on him. It's like, "Look, you're stuck in here. You can read all the books you want." And he becomes really smart that way. But he still kind of walks around like a big old thug.
And is that when he figured out his abilities then? Or...
Oh, no, he knew about it when he stopped the kid from being hung.
Oh, so he did use his abilities to stop.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't know that.
And then while he's in prison, he really actually starts thinking, becomes very clever.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes up against all the other people. "Oh, you're just a gravity manipulator." "Yeah, that's true. Let me show you all the fun things I can do with gravity. Besides slamming you into the wall."
Just lift you up and you can't go anywhere.
That, or he spins you around at, Mach 2.
Right.
Yeah. You have really good dexterity. Let's test that.
I'm definitely, I think, a group person. I like to create characters as a group. For a campaign, for a one shot, like give me the character. I don't even need to make a character. In fact, for one shots, I hate when I'm expected to like put any thought into the character, because usually when I'm doing a one shot as a player, it's a system I've never played before.
Right.
And so I'd rather just be given one of the more popular types of characters that might work well within the system how it's intended. You know what I mean? Like if I was playing a new fantasy game, I would want to play one of the 4 core classes kind of thing, and just see how it goes. But yeah, because a lot of times if I'm like trying to put thought into it, like I'm either going to go the real basic route, like just, nope, it's just this is what I'm making and I'm just going to play it. Or I try to make something very unique, I think, that I've always wanted to play regardless of system, But yeah, that's just kind of how I am. But yeah, group always is better. So have you guys ever done a Christmas themed one shot or thought about it?
Nope.
Not
Nope.
particularly. I think this was last year, I forget, but the internet, well, the company tries to pretend it didn't exist for some reason, but the Wendy's one shot that Critical Role did.
Yep.
Wendy's sponsored an entire RPG. Yep. I have the PDF of their book. That was kind of Christmassy. It at least came out around Christmas. It was all like frosty themed or whatever.
I have that PDF. It looked like interesting.
That was the closest I came to a Christmas adventure. Yeah, usually everybody in my circle is too busy around the holidays. So like we've done tons of Halloween one shots, never really a Christmas one shot. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done a holiday themed one shot. I've had
Halloween's easy, just horror.
Yeah, just okay. Here's a scarecrow.
Yeah,
with a skeleton, with a pumpkin head.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I've never played a holiday themed one shot, but my wife in a couple games has tried to incorporate something related to the upcoming holiday into different things. So in our Tomb of Annihilation game, she prepped like a rainbow and a pot of gold and a leprechaun back last year. The problem is we ended up having that session canceled, so we didn't play it for like another month, which was like right when COVID was happening. So yeah, it was it was definitely after St. Patrick's Day though. And I've done stuff where around Christmas time, I typically give my player characters like a magic item or something along those lines, kind of as like a freebie, like here you go. And a lot of times I'll let them pick. I haven't done it this year with any of my games, I don't think. It's like the first year I haven't. Yeah. But actually, yeah, that's funny. I can't believe I didn't do that this year. Damn, I'm terrible this year.
You're awful.
I have a list of 100 items, and some are good, some suck. And I gave it to the Descent into Avernus group a year ago. And I think one of them almost chose the armor that when you put it on, you can't move.
Oh, that's cruel.
Yeah, I have a set of armor that like you literally just if you put it on, you just stop. Like you can't even take it off. You have to have somebody else take it off of you. So while on the surface it's useless, but if you were to give it to like a bad guy or a monster, you just basically turned him into a statue. Like they can talk.
Or just sell it to them.
You could do that too.
Sorry, I can't give you this, but I can give you a really good price on this +5
Right.
magical armor.
It is, and that's the thing too. It does have a nice bonus to the AC, if I remember right. But yeah, no, but like some of the stuff's cool, you know. And I remember a few years back, one of them chose there's a crystalline helmet, and when you put it on, when you speak the command word, your head goes invisible, not your body, just your head. And so again, it kind of sucks on the surface, but like if you're just sticking up from a bush, just your head, I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, it actually has some pretty cool uses.
Right.
You know? Yours is exact, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, he hated that item. My wife's complained about some of the magic items she's gotten over the years too, because she's like, that's stupid. Like, why would you make it do that? I'm like, because it's great. like only of the 100 items, there's maybe 15 that on the surface aren't the best. Like, but other than that, most of them are useful in a lot of different ways. So,
You know, it's
like
kinda
Luke,
like
I think got some splint mail that actually allowed him to swim, swim speed of 30. I don't
It's
think he
like-
ever used it for that though. He just used it for the bonus to the AC.
It's like one of the April Fool editions from the old Dragon magazine had the spell "Speak with Mud."
Oh, that's
Mud's
great.
still not intelligent; it just sits there and gurgles at you. Or
That's awesome.
or detect normal fire. You close your eyes and put your hand out.
Until you touch it.
Yeah, and then when you touch it, your hand burns.
That's so dumb.
We gotta find
I love
them. They're all on archive.org now.
Oh,
all the
dun-
dragon magazines.
Yeah.
Let's go
Interesting.
look.
So have you guys seen the Taken 20 video yet about Pathfinder?
I saw it. I haven't played Pathfinder that much, and I haven't played Pathfinder 2nd edition at all. But
Yeah.
I kind of got his gist was that it's more like you're playing a war game.
Oh, from his new follow-up video?
Well, I haven't seen his new follow-up. I saw
Yeah,
the
he-
first one.
Yeah, he posted a new one that explained it a little bit better, where he goes into the actual math behind the choices.
Right.
And so it gets his point across a lot better. Like in this video, I don't have anything really to say, like to refute anything, because it's all based on facts. You know, there's a couple things that if people wanted to, like, especially with the example he used in the video, there's some things that players can do that are better than his rotations argument, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I saw a couple other people make the argument in comments elsewhere, and I was like, oh, okay. So,
But yeah, I just kind of got the feeling it's kind of like you're just playing a tabletop war game. It's like, okay, I can see some people would like that. Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of his points I sympathized with when I was playing Starfinder, of like at first glance I was like, oh my god, there's so much stuff. I could pick from one of, I think at the time, I think it's like 34 or 50 different playable races now.
Yeah, I think it's a lot.
And like there's a whole page of items and awesome stuff, and I played 6 or 7 sessions and I did exclusively the same moves every combat. Even the combats were totally different each time. It was our goal was unique, or sometimes we had to run away, or sometimes we had to rescue someone, or X number of turns this was going to happen. We did a defend the line thing, and it was still just the same.
And it's because of how like you guys started your characters, and it just didn't make sense to take other things suboptimally, or
It was just depending on what you picked, even if you had 5 different options available to you, in the moment there was just always one that was clearly better
Yes.
to do. So character choice wise, you might not have picked the perfect choice, in the book,
Right.
but of what you picked, there's, in most scenarios, there's really only one option to go with most of the time.
I feel like that's the same though in all games. I understand like how Pathfinder and Starfinder are kind of marketed is like you have different options. Like that's the beauty of it compared to say like D&D, right? I don't think D&D is like, oh yes, we have so many different options. Like that's not what they're trying to say. And like, but I always felt like even in D&D it's the same thing. Like if you need an area of effect spell, your wizard's going to do fireball.
Right.
Like unless it's a fire elemental, they're pretty much always going to do that fireball. If it's a single monster, they're probably going to do like the I don't know.
Fireball with careful spell.
Yeah. Careful placement.
That's right.
Or like your fighter's going to blow their action surge if it's a boss fight. You already know that's coming. Your battle master's probably going to try and knock them prone so everybody can critical, or gets advantage. It's like there's the common things across all of them. Guiding bolt if it's a cleric at lower levels. Heck, even at higher levels, I think that's still a really good one for him.
It did get me thinking about just like my games in general of like I almost wanted to send a message to all my players and be like, or at least pay attention, but like send a message to them and be like, hey, do you feel this way? Of like, Are you doing the same thing in combat all the time? Just to kind of remedy that or get ahead of it if it is. I think, I don't want to get it wrong. I was going to say my druid expressed something like that, but I'm not sure.
Does he do like wild shape and then just attack every time?
That's been the case.
Was it always a brown bear?
Memory. Yes. He's made that a character choice. I'm way out of context and I'm probably skewering his character backstory, but it was like he was like raised by bears or whatever and that kind of thing. So like unless urged or the situation truly calls for something different, it's like always brown bear.
Yep. Multi-attack, double claws. Like
even when it's not a great, even in social situations, but where like we need an animal to get in, he's like brown bear. I'm like, that's not going to help. Like the rest of his party.
Well, that part kind of makes sense, but then also he can hold it for 8 hours because he's obviously Circle of the Moon.
Yeah.
I love it. Like I honestly have no issue with players doing that, but I have felt that way as a player in 5e with a cleric, and so I don't spam the same spells. I will not do it. Even if the party's like, well, why didn't you use your most optimal thing? It's like, no, it's boring. That's why I never want to be the healing cleric where all I do is heal people. Like that's just boring to me. But I love the fact that, hey, for the next 2-3 combats for fun, I'm going to use Spirit Guardians and just run through here like a blender. Like that's awesome. But then maybe the next few encounters, I don't even prepare that spell and I focus on something else. Like, so I purposely mix it up, even if it's suboptimal. And so that's, I think, why I also don't view like Pathfinder the same way, because I don't feel like I would do the exact same rotations, even if I think it's optimal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I understand. I could see myself doing it in some instances, but I don't think I would do it as often as was implied of a year of a campaign doing the same thing over and over again. Like that sounds awful to me.
Yeah, it sounds pretty boring. It's like, I'm going to cast spells ABC.
Right. Or like even as a fighter, it gets boring. Like I go up and hit it with my sword. I hit it with my sword. Like that gets boring. And I play a lot of fighters. So,
Like, can we shoot a few arrows at it first and then we go in hand to hand?
Right. So, well, that's one of the things I do too. Like, so anytime I make a fighter in a system, I make sure I can fight up close and at range. and I do mix it up sometimes. I've had players ask me why, when I have the highest armor class, am I in the back shooting arrows? I was like, guys, I wanted to mix it up this time.
Yeah.
You get your squishy butt up there.
Yeah.
Gotta pull the old, what's my character would do.
Right. My guy's bored of hitting things with his sword. He wanted to shoot things.
Yeah. You remember that yesterday when I got stampeded by the dragon? Yeah.
Right.
That wasn't any fun. I know I got completely healed.
I mean,
I think
that
I
would
was-
definitely be an instance where I do what's optimal.
It's like, I'm going to stand back and you go fight the big nasty thing for once.
Right.
No, Victor, that's perfectly logical, and like that would absolutely. I've played a couple characters where like where like they'll rush in, get trampled, next combat exactly. Like nope. Like hey, why do you have a bow now? I'm like I'm not. Nope, I learned my lesson.
Right. It also just doesn't make sense to run in head first most of the time. It makes more sense to shoot it at range, and then once it starts getting close, then attack it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of players or a lot of player characters have absolutely zero sense of self-preservation,
Right.
and like
Because they're not actually the character.
Yeah, like almost every character I've had has had at least to me, I feel like a realistic sense of self-preservation. Where if the thing I'm looking at is scary enough, it's like I don't care if I'm the best person to get up front. I'm not gonna do it. I want to live to see tomorrow.
Yeah.
I
Or it's
like
like
that.
it's like
gotta-
most characters always have to walk to the next town, and I'll be like, "It's raining out. We can wait a day." And they go, "Why?" Well, I'll tell you, in real life, when you have to walk 2 miles in the rain, it sucks. So my player character is not going to walk 20 miles in the rain.
Right.
Maybe my character wants to find out if this ring on his pinky really does anything and smash it with get someone to smash it with a hammer.
You know what? That sounds like a great idea.
That happened in our Back Me game a couple weeks ago.
I watched it.
Yeah. It would have been kind of funny if your character died from that.
It would have, yes.
Yeah. How many deaths are you up to so far? I know
2.
at least 2.
2, I think.
I know.
Yeah.
It's been so good.
I really like the eulogy for Porla's character.
Who was it last time that almost died? There was a game recently that some character almost died, and I got so excited about it. What was that?
Was you fighting the dire wolf? Or am I?
Oh, it was, because it was Durgan, and I was
Yeah.
hoping he'd die.
Yes. Yeah, you were.
I was definitely rooting for it.
Yeah, what a real stand-up guy you are. I was hoping this guy died.
I mean, I was, not my character, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Real class act right there.
I don't know what it is, but I used to be afraid of killing characters. Like, I used to dread that moment. And I used to fudge dice rolls in the past, like as recently as like maybe 5 years ago. And the day I quit doing that changed the game for me. Ever since then, like I kind of think it's funny when a character dies, and I don't like. I think it started, and maybe it still is, like a nervous laugh, but at the same time, like I love that feeling. It's so bad.
You have what you're saying is you have a tell, like what they say in poker.
Well,
Yes, I get a little giddy. When, like even right now, I feel.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm feeling it.
Notes taken. I'll look for that if I'm ever in a game with you. Like you roll the dice and you just like, I'm like, oh fuck, one of us.
I
One of
will
us is
never
dead.
intentionally
Sorry.
kill a character.
Yeah.
And I'll never make a ruling that will be like intentional to kill a character. I feel like I'll always be fair. But yes, it is definitely a guilty pleasure.
see, I know I've mentioned this before in the podcast, but I was like, this is a real critical role. Hey, Bob, why don't you roll to see if Tim's character gets hit? And add a +3 into your die roll. That way, nobody knows, nobody thinks I'm going one way or the other. It's right out there on the table. We're using Bob's dice.
I love
Oh,
it.
you hit? Okay, roll 66 damage.
Oh, I've done it before. If a roll is important enough, and I really want to make sure that the players know that I didn't fudge, I'll ask another player or the player to roll their own die.
Mm-hmm.
Or I have one of the old players in my game in their spare time makes terrain, and they started making dice towers, and they made one where there's 2 sections of it, so it's cut off. So if there's like an opposed check, we'll break out like the tower,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's
Oh.
got to roll in public for it.
Cool.
That's awesome. We used to do that in I had a DM from Adventures League. He didn't run things by the rules for Adventures League. He pretty much had the same consistent table at a game store for years. And he had a big tower that he would do important rolls on. So, and it was always great. I have a 3D printed double-sided one where I could literally have like facing me or them. And I've used that a few times like that.
Ooh.
Paula got that for me for Christmas a couple years ago.
Yeah, I like the me versus them thing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Now, did she get you a 3D printer or just a tower?
No, just the tower a couple
Oh,
years
okay.
ago. I think at the time it was like $400 for a 3D printer. I mean, I still don't have one, but
I mean, I'll be honest. I think you're worth the $400. Do you want me to talk to her for you?
You got it. Definitely. It's a little bit late for Christmas, but my birthday's in 4 months.
Okay. So just get yourself a good attorney for the divorce and you'll be fine.
No, we actually we've been talking about getting one probably next year sometime, but
A
we'll
divorce?
see. No, of course not. That's dumb. Psh. She's my
That's
money maker.
really expensive.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
The 3D printer is much cheaper. Go with that.
Well, they have, it looks like some pretty decent ones for about $200. You know, they're smaller, so you're not going to do anything real big, but yeah, I think around $200 is doable. So we've talked about it and we've looked at a couple, but haven't really dove into the research yet to understand, you know, and make a educated purchase or anything.
Well, you could print up your own figures.
I could. Well, see, that's the other thing. We still have so many we have to paint. So like buying a 3D printer, it's just going to make us not paint those other ones even longer.
Oh.
And then I'll have to
paint
have her do
those.
sweatshops on like 3 nights a week.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And she's already slowed down to 1.
I mean, I've been trying to encourage her in the chat, but she doesn't read like what I'm writing.
I've had to stop letting her try to read because she'll reread my comments or reread the things I read, and then be like, "We need to talk about that," and I'm like, "We just did." But yeah, and she doesn't paint when she's doing that either. Gosh. Oh, I don't know what 5e is yet. It's for the social justice
Man, if
warriors.
only you didn't have to paint minis all the time.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, you know what would be really cool if you had like these tactical tokens?
Yes, tactical tokens. Are you selling that?
Did I show you the dragon yet?
I haven't
I'm
seen.
pretty
it.
sure I did.
Yeah. I haven't
That's
seen it.
nice.
I think I saw goblins last time, or something. That dragon was cool though.
No, won't go back on its sheet. Oh well, it's out forever now.
Yeah, that's a cool one. So you're selling those as kits now?
Yeah, most of our bundles are still just the blanks, the dry and wet erase ones.
Mhm.
But 2021 will be the year of the printed token.
I love it. That's awesome.
Can you print me up some Bitcoins too?
If you asked me in 2004, yeah.
Okay.
Back when my computer could actually mine them. Now, no.
Yeah, I
Is
remember
Bitcoin
that.
still a thing?
Yeah.
Like it's still like a thing that people invest in to like hopefully make money?
Oh yeah, it broke 20K a coin a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, one of all the podcasts I listen to, that's part of the thing is when they, and this is what Bitcoin's selling for today.
Yeah. It's almost
like-
at 24K right now per coin.
I feel like 3 years ago I told Paul we should put like $1,000 in Bitcoin, and we didn't.
I don't. It's at the point now where I mined a few. Well, I say a few. I don't have a whole Bitcoin. Or, many decimal places below 1. But I was mining them a whole bunch of years ago, back when it was actually viable to mine them on a computer.
Mhm.
And I went through the same thing of like, I feel like I should buy into it, but the price at the time was already a couple hundred, if not above 1,000. And I was like, I'm not gonna spend that much money on it. And each time it goes up really high, I'm like,
Damn.
but it's not gonna go up again. Damn it.
The time I looked into getting Bitcoin, it was a very long, complicated process to actually purchase one, and that kind of maybe it's a lot easier now, but
Yeah, there's there's easier ways, but there's also so many scam. It's so easy to scam people out of their money.
Yeah.
During the transaction phase, it's not that Bitcoin is easily scammable within itself. It's that
the people trying to buy
Third party.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
The people are easy to get to because there's its whole own ecosystem and thing, and
Yeah.
it's tough to understand completely.
And people buy into the hype.
Oh yeah.
It's like, okay, well, here's your Bitcoin. Let me pull out my wallet here. You give me $20,000.
Nope.
And the transaction times or verification times are really long, but like depending on what you use to buy it, they could just immediately cash out.
That's
And
weird.
Now you're left with, nope, I didn't get my stuff, but they took my money.
Yeah, that's rough.
Well, it's like the first of anything that comes out. Maybe 20 years now, there'll be another digital currency that actually works the way that we all want it to.
Well, I mean the scamming thing.
Oh, yeah.
Just people. Let's end this on a sour note. No.
Yeah. It's like I was doing third shift last night and I got the classic call from the Circle K help desk. And I was like, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm doing great tonight. What's the scam? Huh? Yeah, this is a scam call. What's the scam? Click.
Yeah.
Yeah, Circle K is not going to help desk. Is not going to call anybody at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Lil Maxie says, does the guy in the bottom left know he's on camera? Yes, he does.
Which guy? Me?
You.
I think that's you, Victor.
Yeah, okay. I know my camera. Yeah, this is my little hole.
That man's beard is eating his face. Whose beard? Is he talking about yours, Dave?
I think I have the largest. Potentially. It's cold out here. Okay, the colder it is, the faster it grows.
Okay.
Right. Item cards. Wow, I missed quite a few comments tonight. It went from like real slow, and then people started chatting in there.
Yeah, chat blew up. Back when we were talking about character death,
Which is great, right? Yeah. My character has been a single point away from dying at least once, close a couple times. I don't feel like I'm really that close to dying as a player, usually. I'm either dead and it's like so obvious, but I'm never like hanging on to like 1 or 2 hit points. I kind of feel like I'm being ripped off as a player. Just saying. Anyways, is that the old vice commander on the ice wall? At the ice wall. I don't know what he's
I think
saying.
they just goofing.
Anyways, guys, I think that's a good spot to call the stream, but we can chat for a minute if you want after. I know, Peter, you got a game to go to?
Yep, just waiting for the invite. I'm good right now.
Okay. So anyways, though, we'll still end the stream there. Go pick out some tactical tokens. Go follow BN Drake on YouTube. And with that, we'll see you guys next time. Game on.